The Human Rights Watch organisation says that following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the global community deserves credit for unleashing what it calls the full arsenal of the human rights system, including an investigation by the International Criminal Court.
We saw immediate responses from the international community to mobilise around key human rights supports, including establishing international justice mechanisms, evidence gathering for war crimes.
In towns like Bucha and Izium, there is widespread evidence that occupying Russian soldiers tortured, raped and executed civilians. The United Nations Human Rights Council has documented several hundred civilian killings, thought to be a fraction of the total.
In some cases, Russian soldiers executed civilians in makeshift places of detention. Others were summarily executed on the spot, following security checks in their houses, yards and doorways.
Human Rights Watch's annual report also highlights ongoing abuses in China, including the mass detention, torture and forced labour of as many as 1 million Muslims in the Xinjiang region. Beijing denies the accusations. The report says the UN Human Rights Council's increased scrutiny of Beijing's actions is encouraging.
What we have seen for the first time in a very long time is cracks in the authoritarian armour.
In Iran, protests triggered by the death of Mahsa Amini after she was detained by morality police have grown into nationwide anti-government demonstrations. Human Rights Watch says the execution of at least 4 protesters must trigger a stronger global response.
We need to move beyond international solidarity for protesters and need to make sure that governments all over the world are holding Iranian officials to account.
The report cites increasing human rights abuses in Myanmar, where the authors say the regime is launching assaults on communities across the country that oppose the military coup. In Ethiopia, Human Rights Watch says the recent African Union-led peace process has resulted in a fragile truce.
Ensuring that there is accountability for the egregious crimes that took place in the Tigray region, for example, is going to be critical for this ceasefire and this truce to actually hold.
The report says climate change is having an increasing impact on basic rights worldwide. It says governments have a legal and moral obligation to regulate industries such as fossil fuel extraction that are incompatible with protecting basic rights. Henry Ridgewell for VOA News, London.